Welcome heretics to another 40k video. Within the Jericho Reach exist many radicals and heretics who go against the creative limits set on those who fall within the Emperor's Light, and we are going to look at some of the most interesting of their creations today. Before we begin, please appease the algorithm god by liking and subscribing if you enjoy the video, and we will start with the irradial cogitator, looking like a demonic arcade machine with a chaos symbol slapped on it. It won't grant you wishes like Zoltar, but it will promote your favourite cult by overtaking the machines in the local populace. Cogitators are outwardly innocuous, but their razor-keen intelligence comes not just from fine layers of circuits, but the demons that course through them. Some purchasers are completely ignorant of the dark power inside these devices, transacting with unscrupulous middlemen or free unioners in the guise of honest trade. Others are versed in or even proponents of dark technology, while still others are simply too desperate to care. An irradial cogitator is often a bargain too good to pass up, a miraculously efficient machine whose price appears remarkably low. In their nascent stages, an irradial cogitator's intellect can answer a struggling hive's prayers. Disease, hunger, pollution, and free will are some of the most common problems the beneficent machine seems to cure for its new masters. Whilst the cogitator's miracles are still endearing it to the local population, it seeks its first apostle. This person will be the seed of fear and worship. He serves as an innocuous voice for the infused cogitator's true wishes, a disciple of its impending divinity. Tech priests are the obvious choice, but anyone in a position to maintain the cogitator's physical housing, who holds substantial regard for the device's miracles, is a candidate. While the first apostle cultivates the population's reverence for the cogitator, it begins to spread its sphere of direct influence as well. An irradial cogitator spreads the tendrils of its neural patterns out into technology, connecting to its location. Toasters, irons and vacuums will soon be in the grip of its chaotic influence, burning the bread placed inside, or cleaning the already cleaned sections of the floor. Installation requires a physical connection and is not possible over Vox channels. This limits the rate and range to which an irradial cogitator can spread its dominion. Well, that is more than enough to appropriate buildings, hives, or even entire worlds with tightly networked data looms. Going back, I think when I said appropriate, I meant appropriate as in take control of. Using this sphere of control, it reinforces the apostle's message, causing serendipitous boons for the faithful and misfortunes for vocal opponents of the budding cult. Over decades, the irradial demonic core builds worshippers and their dependence on it. As they install its code and devices the network does not reach. The demon whispers through its disciple of rites that must be performed to keep the burgeoning god appeased. Year by year, the runes of the Mechanicus become runes of an altogether different religion. Within a few generations, the demon holds as tight a sway over the populace as it does over their technology. An irradial cogitator's body is an inanimate machine, easily destroyed if it can be located and reached. But of course, all those into the cult, all those inducted, will want to defend it. However, the demonic spirit within its possessed housing is filled with malevolent brilliance and has many abilities that allow it to directly influence its surroundings to protect itself. And next up we have the Slinnear war machine. Speculation and false information surrounds the plasma-driven constructs dubbed Slinnear war machines. As the name implies, their origins appear to lie at the spinward edge of the Jericho Reach, in the stellar body known as the Slinnear Drift. Even their link to this protostar cluster is tenuous, based on little more than whispered stories and an observation that the emission frequency of the war machine's core resembles that of celestial bodies in that drift. What is unerringly agreed upon is that a Slinnear war machine is an engine of destruction, given life through the sacrifice of a human soul, and after the soul becomes its pilot, many faces will be placed on milk cartons by those who don't know their relative is now just a power battery in a spiky suit that will only bear someone else's will. Although a war machine is similar in size and shape to a stealth suit or power armor. They hold no living pilot. Instead, ancient transference rites must be used to imbue the machine with the soul that becomes its pilot. While operation, a Slinnear war machine pulses with the light and heat of a star captured in an obsidian cage. This energy can be unleashed in short, but incredibly potent bursts. These blasts appear similar to the discharge of a plasma weapon, but contain enough energy to breach nearly any material with minimal distance to destroy it. Over time, the soul within the war machine begins to lose its humanity and just become something that serves its master. And also something worth noting, Slinnear war machines are immune to psychic powers and psychic energy directed against them. It is essentially a blank in that regard. The exact amount of time a transferred life can power the construct is unknown. Speculation ranges from a few years to a normal human lifespan and beyond. It is certain that war machines expire eventually, as the possession rituals necessary to activate one has an uneasily documented aftermath. Many die attempting this dangerous ritual, although the aid of a practitioner versed in both the technological and the arcane can improve the chances of success and survival. Even beyond this risk, the nature of Slinnear war machines is a matter of some debate within the Inquisition and fringe groups of explorators. Many argue that in order to function, the soul transfer must involve some manner of forbidden warp circuitry, but others counter with force swords as an example of an orthodox parallel. This camp, which includes the Crucible Resvoliate, is not so eager to condemn the Slinnear war machine, and would greatly like to acquire one for study. They dismiss as unfounded rumours claims that the war machine's own alien spirit eventually overtakes that of the possessor. The war machine's reputation is little improved by the desperate and ruthless individuals usually driven to occupy one. Most often these devices are acquired by zealous rebels or power-hungry criminals. Few sane men would ever choose to undergo the possession rites. Although a Slinnear war machine does offer immense power, it comes only at the highest of prices, one's own humanity. War machines have no voice, and anyone or anything the possessor ever loved is now beyond its burning touch. And for the last one from this Deathwatch supplement, we'll look at the Spire Slayer. It opens with a quote from the 12th universal law of the Adeptus Mechanicus: "The soulless sentience is the enemy of all." A Spire Slayer is an animated doomsday device. These aptly named weapons have but one purpose: to slaughter the population of an entire hive. Samek's baleful artisans have long constructed these war machines for clientele set on eliminating capital worlds. Although all slayers possess common attributes to make them fit for their purpose, no two are alike. Each one is commissioned to a particular hive's quirks and given a form that can easily hide on that particular world. Lastly, each blasphemous masterwork holds an Imperium matrix that sustains a powerful bound demon. The demon animates the mechanical chassis and contributes many unique and unpredictable gifts to each slayer. It is also a Spire Slayer with murderous intent that is also powered by the demon. And this is required so that it can efficiently eliminate millions of deaths. The majority of Spire Slayers are forged in the shape of gargoyles or statues to fit in with the very gothic style you get on a lot of planets within the Imperium. This allows the creator to individualize his work with a terrifying visage, and yet permit it to hide in plain sight. Speed and agility are critical to a Slayer's success, so that it can work its way rapidly through the population and traverse the sprawling high-scape with ease. A Slayer's metal shell is capable of sustaining massive amounts of damage. It must be all but disintegrated before the construct ceases to function. The elegant blades and pinions adorning a Slayer's chassis become deadly instruments of bloodshed once the demon's essence infuses them. Although each of these creatures relishes personal slaughter, it would only be able to kill a few million victims. Only, that's quite a lot. A Spire Slayer's activity cycle is characterized by 3 phases. It's not like you or I when you wake up in the morning and you're trying to find that energy. In the waking phase, the Slayer is full of hunger and violence, but lacks the power necessary to cause mass casualties. Its strength grows as it accumulates victims. This takes Anywhere from a few months to a few years, it builds its power and sates its most pressing violent urges. When the bound demon has grown powerful on the souls of its victims, and the Imperium conduits which link it to the warp are fully charged, the Spire Slayer enters the culmination phase. In this state, it is all but unstoppable, with the demon able to power the devastating gifts imbued at its dark forging. The brand of ruin that a slayer can wreak is as unique as the abomination itself. Mass warp, incursion, plague, and the seismic disasters are but a few examples. Then there is the last phase, the done my work for the day, winding down phase. There the Slayer hunts the survivors of its apocalypse. The majority of its power has been expended. It is no longer possessed with the omnipotence with which it's attempted genocide, but it is still more than a match for even a small army of humans. Furthermore, it has a deep link with the hive, and as such has preternatural knowledge of every living creature in it. The entire cycle of murder can easily take decades, but a Spire Slayer has nothing but time and fury to expend. Some Slayers quickly fall dormant once the last sentient being has been purged from the hive, or move up onto a neighbouring hunting ground. Others still stalk the skeletons of dead worlds, reigning over the desolate fruits of their labour. And on that not inspiring note, we'll wrap up today's video. What do you think to the 3 bits of technology I brought to you? The Spire Slayer, the Slinnear war machine, and my personal favourite, the irradial cogitator. Everything you want in a cultist in one handy machine. Let me know what you think to them. Let me know what you think to the lore around them. Let's watch it in the comments.